Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on live stream music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming again today, you're very, very welcome. Gee, it's been a warm one here in Adelaide today. We got to 41 degrees today, a little bit on the warm side, probably facing no high 20s sleeping tonight, but you know, it's all good. We've got beautiful beaches. In fact, I went for a swim down the beach just a little bit later when the sun had gone down a little bit. Of course, there was a sunset, so stunning. Well, what did we get up to last time? Oh, we talked about the King, Graham Kennedy, and it was great to look at his life, absolutely. Well, continuing on with this sort of iconic Australian television, we're going to look at a show today that's actually between 1971 and 1999, went for 28 years. If you think about Saturday Night Live, those of you who are in the United States, well, Hey Hey It's Saturday very much was the staple of Saturday night television for all those years, 500 plus episodes. Hey Hey It's Saturday, of course, Daryl Somers, very much the staple of the show for all that time, being the compere and the host. And it started out in the morning on a children's show. And I think the thing that made Hey Hey Saturday so clever was the fact that these guys could pretty well develop their type of humour, the sort of thing that made Hey Hey Saturday what it was, and they were able to do that in a very, very innovative way, basing their comedy on vaudeville, people such as Graham Kennedy and Bert Newton, and that kind of vaudeville kind of humour. But it wasn't long before, it was around 1984, in fact, that Hey Hey It's Saturday was becoming an absolute force of nature in Australia, and it got given a prime time Saturday night slot. So to actually be given that slot is very, very, very cool indeed. The best way to look at Hey Hey It's Saturday, I think, first of all, it was crazy, it was unpredictable, it was funny. There was sort of a few segments in there as well that made it pretty good. It was also a very, very good show for live acts. Many bands and movie actors got on this show just to promote themselves in Australia. And it was just one of these shows where you didn't quite know what to expect. And this is what made Hey Hey It's Saturday such a pretty cool thing. We've got a couple of clips at the start. We've got Daryl Somers, Aussie Ostrich, Dicky Nee and John Blackman. Now these characters would very much be the staple of Hey Hey It's Saturday. We're going to get on to John Blackman a little bit later in this video as well, and the significant guy he was in this show. So I think to set the scene, you've just got to get into the whole interactions between all these characters. Daryl Somers and Aussie Ostrich. Dicky Nee would just be this puppet that would just stick its head up from time to time and just put in a bit of a comment here and there. And of course, John Blackman was never really on screen. He was the voice that would just get comments in from time to time. You know, the great thing about Hey Hey It's Saturday was that they knew what the show needed and what the show wanted, and they would just do ad-lib stuff all the way through this, and this is what made Hey Hey It's Saturday such an iconic show. One of the big parts of Hey Hey It's Saturday was Red Faces. Now, into 1984, in a television first, Hey Hey It's Saturday crossed live to the Skyhooks that were performing in Melbourne, and that's where Red Simons got a bit of a go, because he's part of Skyhooks, but he became a critical part of Hey Hey It's Saturday, including the band, which we'll get onto a video of that one in a minute, but also Red Faces. Now, Red Simons was the character. He was the one that kind of nobody liked. He was grumpy. It was just the way his character was, and the whole thing was that if an actor got through without him banging his gong, normally about a minute and a half, you know, you'd actually have a good show. But, you know, they got some pretty amazing guest judges. And what about Pat Cash, Sheryl Crow, John McEnroe and Red Simons as four? And so this is a great thing about Hey Hey, was that you never quite knew who was going to rock up. And I think if anybody said, hey, look, I'm just in the studio, can I get on? That's often the way that it worked. So we've got a clip of the four of them doing a bit of, and so we've got Daryl Somers doing what he does so well, just keeping the peace. We got one of the acts, a hilarious bobsled team, absolutely hilarious to see these guys go through their paces. Another amazing character was Plucka, and he would get on once a week, sort of run around the live audience as his show was live, and just ham everything up and get things funny. They had Duck Lotto, and a contestant would get on and they would actually spin the wheel. Of course, if they didn't like what they got, they could pluck a duck, and this is where Plucka got his name. There were some very, very touching scenes as well. There was a very particular nice scene with John Farnham. Of course, we all loved Before I'm in Australia, got together with Tom Jones, and they just did this very off-the-cuff ad-lib thing on stage. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that's happening between the two of them. Thinking about other live acts that have appeared, we've got Take That. Now we've got a very, very young Robbie Williams here, all the way back in 1984, coming on and just watch the crowd. You know, you just never knew who you were going to get on Hey Hey Saturday. Take That, they were at the height of their fame at that point. We got the Wiggles, of course. Greg, Murray, Anthony, and Jeff in their skivvies, and of course we know that given they started in 1991, this is an interview in 1998. These guys were an absolute phenomenon, worldwide phenomenon at this point. So good to see the Wiggles driving on in their big red car. We got the Cause, 1998, and we got John Farnham singing You're the Voice in 1987. And so there was no shortage of live acts on this show. Let's not forget the band. There was a live band on the show, and go forward to one of the reunions in 2010, and you can see how many people were in the band here. The show was absolutely live, including the music, and so this is what made Hey Hey Saturday such an iconic show. We've also got a bit of a tribute to John Blackman when he died. He very much was the heart and soul, together with Daryl Somers, of Hey Hey Saturday, so it's good to give him a little bit of tribute today. Over the course of the 28 years, these guys won 19 Logies, and including Daryl Somers, who actually won a gold Logie for most popular television presenter on Australian television. So, if you can think about Saturday Night Live, just a bit rawer and a bit rawer and just a bit all over the place, this is Hey Hey Saturday. It was an absolutely iconic show on Australian television, and we can't do a channel like this one without paying tribute to what was Daryl Somers' genius and the amount of people that he brought on with him. Hey Hey Saturday is an Australian institution, and so it's good to be able to give this show a particular tribute today. I mean, better years like this one do not give a show like this one justice. So very much as a kid growing up, in 1984, I would have been just finished high school, so early 20s. It's just one of these shows we've watched every night because we never quite knew what was going to happen, who was going to get on. So it's really good to give Hey Hey Saturday a tribute today. So the links to those 12 clips are in the description below, and I've also included my last video from Graham Kennedy. If you want to recap on that one, on him, feel free. Well, if this is your first time, the live reflection to music, or you've come back for another one, how great to see everybody here. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to get on to another iconic Australian show. I've already mentioned, shows already featured a few times in some of the clips going through this series, but let's look at Countdown and Molly Meldrum next time. So until then, I'll catch you around.